and there's a video up that will kind of walk you through behind the scenes. That's Mark Richt's first practice as Miami Hurricanes head coach, which is an exciting time. Our State of the U photographer was down there, and he put up a picture of Mark Richt with the hashtag on Twitter, not golden. So, that's a positive. So, we just hit the field. Gus Edwards, who missed the 2015 season after tearing his knee up in the third day of fall practice, he was out doing drills and everything. Not 100% yet, but he's a big back, 6'2", 235, 240, kind of a huge feature back, kind of like Najee Davenport was in that rotation years ago. And that's going to be a valued asset for the running attack. New offensive coordinator Thomas Brown, who played for Richt at Georgia, is a professed two running back guy. He shared the ball with Noshawn Marino up there. He was the running backs coach at Georgia last year. He worked with Melvin Gordon at Wisconsin the year before that. That's slightly different because Melvin Gordon was so far and away the best back on their team, but they still even had two guys get 1,000 yards when he was at Wisconsin. So that's going to be a major thing, major key to success. DJ Khaled, shout out. Brad Kaya is awesome. Plain and simple. If you watch the video of the practice, obviously following Mark Richt, who is serving as, he's not quarterback's coach. His son is, but at the beginning of the install and everything right now, he's definitely the guy who's working with the quarterbacks. And you can just hear him saying, you know what, Brad, that's a great throw. Oh, that's beautiful. Brad, oh, that's amazing. And Joey, stop trolling me. No, Brad Kaya is not the best quarterback in the ACC. I made that mistake last year. That would be Deshaun Watson. I can admit my faults. Leave me alone. As I was saying,
we don't expect to be trolling each other.
I know. I'm over here trying to give this sage insight and wisdom and everything, and I'm just No. I mean, Brad Kaya is, but I mean, look, you have Austin as Brad Kaya is in the gap between everybody else at the quarterback position in this conference. But Brad Kaya is really good. You saw Stacey Coley making some plays. He's the unquestioned number one wide receiver. Saw Lawrence Tager making plays. I think that he's going to step up and have a big year. Joseph Yearby is back in that rotation at running back. Mark Walton's back. Trayon Gray is back, and he was, seen doing some very good things out there as well. We have David Njoku, who is going to be a breakout star at tight end. He's, he won the ACC high jump, I believe, at 6'4", 244 for the indoor season. He was the champion, I believe, of that, or at least won a couple events or a couple of meets on high jump. So he's a freak athlete. Christopher Herndon is out there. Also as one of the better tight ends. Standish Dobart, he's more of a workhorse guy than a superstar guy, but that gives us very good depth at tight end. And then, you come to the offensive line, and that's going to be the thing that is going to be the determiner of Miami Hurricanes' success, because we're going to try to run the ball. Mark Richt has come in and said we're going to be physical. We're going to be more physical than everybody else. We're going to start fast and faster, play harder in the fourth quarter. And that was in another different video for indoor mat drills. So you can see that there's obviously some propaganda going on, but he said these kind of things. And that then falls on the players to make the plays. So Sonny Adogwu was not out at practice yesterday. He had a foot injury that precluded him from playing in the bowl game, so he might be still with that. So really just waiting to see who steps up on that offensive line. And I don't think that story is going to be finalized anytime in the near future through spring or even the beginning of fall practice. But that's going to be the thing that really determines what the level of success Miami's going to have this
definitely,
year.
Mike and Joey, if you've got some better questions than me, jump on in. I don't know about you, Joey. We may have to put the clamps on you. But Mike, definitely here if you got some questions for Cam and discuss among yourselves. But I want to talk defense because you got a new defensive coordinator in Manny Diaz. Secondary got hit with huge losses. Deion Bush, Tracy Howard, Artie Burns. Your thoughts about who's coming in, Cam, if you're fairly confident, what you would like to hear from spring practice concerning the secondary?
The secondary, that's going to be a position of weakness, I think, for the defense. You do have, some very good safeties that are returning. Jaquan Johnson was a superstar recruit, 4-time first-team All-Dade County. in high school, and there's only a handful of players who's ever been able to say that. So he's going to be out there. Rayshawn Jenkins back for a redshirt senior year. Robert Knowles coming off of a redshirt year. He went to Miami Edison, very physical player. And so he's used that year to really develop himself even more and really learn more of the game. He was kind of more of a, I'm just going to be a better athlete than you kind of guy in high school. But if you put that with some knowledge, hopefully, he'll be able to play well. And then Jamal Carter, who's going to be a senior this upcoming year, and is a huge hitter. He got, he knocked a couple people out. He got a targeting penalty in the Nebraska game, second half. So I think he's going to be good. So you have a solid 4-man rotation there. Adding Adrian Colbert from the University of Texas as a grad transfer who's going to come over, be in the rotation, maybe at safety, and then also look to play some cornerback, which is really the position with the least amount of depth on our team. Sheldrick Redwine and Corn Elder are going to be your presumed starters there at cornerback. And then after that, it's a whole lot of who knows. So, the secondary is going to be a thing that is going to be a little bit of a challenge for us going forward, just specifically from a numbers standpoint, and really finding that depth of consistent play. Because if a cornerback goes down, if a Corn Elder who had that return against Duke, if he goes down, if you have Redwine who gets injured, if you have, Colbert goes down, behind them there's a really a big drop-off of talent. So that's going to be a thing where we're going to need the front seven to really get pressure going to help out the secondary. And just, talking about what's been going on, Manny Diaz is our new defensive coordinator. He's a Miami native, and he's talked about playing fast, 4-3, get up the field like your hair is on fire kind of defense, which is what you see from the Optimist level all the way up in Miami. Optimist, middle school, or which is basically middle school, high school. And I believe that's the way that the University of Miami should be playing. It's the way that all the players down here play. And some of the players are talking about, that one gap system. Okay, so two gap system, this is the thing that Miami has been talking about for years. When you have a two gap system, that's the gap in between the offensive linemen. So a two gap, you hold and you grab and you read and react. So, okay, you're controlling the gap on both sides of the guy that you're engaged with. In a one gap system, you shade a little bit, and this gap is my gap. That's it. In whichever gap it is, and you get up the field. So there's less read and react, and it's more just go. And that's what everybody wants to play. Kendrick Norton, who's going to be a sophomore defensive tackle, he's talked about that being awesome. Al-Qadi Muhammad, Jermaine Grace, talking about having lost a little bit of weight from the weak side linebacker so that he can blitz and he can run, which is what he specializes in. So a lot of guys on the front seven are talking about the new system really fitting their skill set and tying that back together. I think if the front seven is able to wreak havoc, which is what Manny Diaz defenses are known for, and Craig Kulagowski, our defensive line coach who came from Missouri, his defensive lines are known for that. And our defensive coordinator is known for wreaking havoc, getting up the field. So if we put those together and actually do that, I think that will help the secondary because they won't have to cover for 5 and 6 seconds. They'll only have to cover, 2 seconds maybe. And if that smaller or shorter covering time, that'll help.
Football players want to play. They don't want to think. And that doesn't mean they're not smart guys, but they don't want to think, and that's not the time to think. You think at practice, you think in the film room, you want to explode, you want to get to the football, and especially, and this is a little oversimplified, but if you believe that you've got at least as good a talent, if not better talent, then you want your players really to play and explode off the ball. Now, if you got some deficiencies on defense and you need to play safe and hope for the best and make teams drive at 80 yards in 15 plays, then you do something different. But hey, they got the athletes and obviously another good recruiting class coming in.